Sorry this is a long one. This happened a few years ago, but I still think about it to this day. I was on holiday in a city on the other side of the country, celebrating my 21st birthday with my best friend. We were having an amazing night out with a few too many drinks, and ended up meeting two guys. Let's call them Andrew and Billy. They seemed like really cool guys, and we were into them, so when they asked us back to their hotel room, we said yes. Obviously a silly idea, but we were young and drunk. Things were great on the way back to the hotel room. We were all laughing and having a great time. When we got to the hotel room, there were two other men there as well. Let's call them Ricky and JD, who were at least 10 to 15 years older than us. They gave us creepy vibes, but we brushed it off. We asked Andrew and Billy who these guys were, and they said that they were their colleagues, as they were in the city for work, and the company paid for their rooms. So Andrew and Billy were in different rooms, but we were all partying in Andrew's room that he shared with Ricky. I got a little too drunk, and my friend put me to bed. She said that she was going to Billy's room and asked if I would be okay with Andrew, and I said yes. Keep in mind, my friend didn't have a phone either, so we basically had no way of getting in contact with each other. Another stupid thing, I know. So I'd been in bed a while with Andrew, just talking and chilling, when he says,
"I just have to pop out and I'll be right back."
I assumed he meant just out of the bedroom, not out of the actual hotel room, but he left me in the hotel room to get something from Billy's hotel room. Anyway, I was just watching TV in the bed when the bedroom door opens, and I assumed it was Andrew, but my heart sank when it was Ricky, the weird colleague. He walked into the room and sat on the bed. Keep in mind, I'm very naked at this point, trying to cover myself with a blanket. He said,
"You do realize everyone has left you alone in here, right? It's just you, all alone. No one is here, and no one can hear you."
And continued edging closer and closer to me on the bed. At this point, I was completely speechless and absolutely terrified. I was completely frozen in fear, and I had no idea what to do. I tried to say something, but nothing came out. He definitely sensed my fear, and for some reason, he just got up and left. A sense of relief flooded me, and I felt silly for overreacting. That was until I heard JD, other random colleague, shouting,
"Get the fuck back in there. What are you doing? This isn't what we discussed. Get the fuck back in there and do what you were meant to do. Who gives a fuck about that her? Just get back in there and do what you need to do."
I ran to the bathroom and locked myself in because I was so scared that there was no way out, and the only way out of the hotel was passed through the front door, and I had to walk past Ricky and JD to get there. I was just so terrified. I had a million thoughts rushing through my head, and I had no idea what to do, but I knew that I had to escape. I decided my only option was just to leave the room and be ready to defend myself if things were to go pear-shaped. I threw my clothes on and grabbed my shoes. I opened the door, and Ricky and JD were sitting on a couch close to the bedroom door. JD said,
"Hey sexy, where are you going in such a rush? Come and join us. Come here, right now."
I said no thanks and ran to the front door and ripped it open. When I got out, I was so relieved, but I was still in a random hotel in a random city with no way to contact my friend. But I thought my best option was to go to the lobby and just wait. As I was walking, I heard two men yelling down the hall,
"Where are you? We know you aren't too far away. Come back and join us. You know you want to."
It was Ricky and JD. I was absolutely fucking terrified. By this point, I began sprinting to the elevator. I could hear them gaining on me. I never knew I could run so fast, but I continued and didn't look back. I felt like I was running forever until I reached the end of the corridor, and my worst nightmare had come true. I missed the turn-off of the elevator. Fucking idiot. So I had to turn and run back towards where I could hear Ricky and JD still yelling down the hallway. I found the elevator and got in. I could hear the voices getting louder and louder, and I didn't want to imagine what would happen if they got into the elevator with me. The door finally closed after what felt like a lifetime. I thought I would go down to the lobby and just wait there, because at least there would be people there, so there would be some form of safety. I got to the lobby and realized that there was no one in sight. No one at all, not even behind the desk. I sat on a couch and I didn't know what to do with myself. I was absolutely terrified that Ricky and JD would come to the lobby. Then I heard the elevator ding and the door open. My heart dropped, but it was Andrew. I told him what had happened, and he was outraged that his colleagues did that, and he even took me to where my best friend was. Everything turned out fine, but it could have been a lot worse. So Ricky and JD, let's never meet again. It was Atlanta 2005-ish. My best friend was in town, and she was able to get us a nice hotel room near bars with her points. Pre-Uber and Lyft, obviously. We got back to the hotel late but before midnight, and we were intoxicated, but not blackout drunk. We got ready for bed in our jammies and fell right to sleep in the queen-size bed. She had accidentally put down that she was one occupant on the reservation, and we didn't bother to update it upon check-in. Several hours later, I woke up bleary-eyed and saw a tall man just staring at us, and in my stupor calmly asked, "What are you doing here?" My friend then woke up at the sound of my voice and asked what was going on. He seemed frozen, like a deer in headlights. He told us he was hotel security and that there had been a report of a disturbance, and he was here to ask us to quiet down. Confused, we told him that we'd been asleep for hours, and he told us okay and to have a good night. He left out the door, and we went right back to sleep. The next morning, we went down to talk to management because, as we discussed, we realized something very strange had happened. Management talked to my friend and then called someone more senior to talk to her. I was on the phone watching from across the room. As they brought out the second person and they spoke with her, she became sheet white. They had no on-site security team, and no one had called in any disturbances that night before. They immediately moved us to a different room and upgraded the rest of our stay. To this day, I wonder if that room was targeted because it was only supposed to have one woman in there at the time, and when the person saw the two of us, they panicked and decided not to move forward. I also wonder what would have happened if our reaction was not tempered by alcohol and dreaming state. If we had screamed, would that have triggered something more sinister? This happened in April. My boyfriend had a business trip to a city 4 hours away from me, and I decided to visit him. We're in a long-distance relationship. Since my decision to visit was spontaneous, we couldn't book a hotel room in advance for the two of us, and the hotel that my boyfriend was staying at was being paid for by his company, and they had a policy for not allowing guests to stay over or visit. So we had to look for a new hotel at night, and since it was a popular area, all the hotels were booked, except one. It was an okay-looking 2- or 3-star hotel, but I was okay with staying there because we had no other option, and it was a safe area. Plus, my boyfriend is a tough guy, so I wasn't worried about anything. We got checked in, and the atmosphere of the hotel was, well, strange. I couldn't see a single woman there, except me. I really didn't care about it that much because I was happy about being with my man after so long. We were staying there for 3 nights and 2 days, but my boyfriend had to leave at 7 a.m. in the morning, and he would return late at night by 12 a.m., and there wasn't anything that we could do because he's the senior director and writer who had to manage the shoots. So, on the 3rd day, my boyfriend was off to work and I was taking a nap in the afternoon, and I dreamt that I was alone in the hotel room and some hotel staff dude came in to deliver breakfast and starts to pull me off the bed by my legs. I immediately woke up and got a little freaked out because I was all alone and there wasn't any other women in the hotel that I had seen. I calmed myself down and watched some television. 2 hours later, around 6 p.m., I was ready to get into the shower because my boyfriend and I were going to the beach for a date night. He was going to directly pick me up, but I was procrastinating and postponing my shower. This is when the lock beep thing on the room's door starts going off. It's when you try to open the room without a key card. I was startled, I couldn't move, and this man opens the door and walks in and looks at me sitting on the bed, stares at me up and down, and closes the door. I didn't understand what was going on. He closes the door and rang the bell. I opened the door, and he had the most random explanation in the world.
I was just checking on whether the AC remote and the TV remote are in the room.
I was so shook. I knew that he was lying. I ordered food and other stuff a few times a day, and the staff probably knew that my boyfriend left pretty early in the morning and wouldn't come back until late. They knew that I was alone all day long. I asked him, "How can you just barge into someone's room like that?" He said that he didn't know someone was in here. Another lie, because they have a fucking register. I locked the room, wouldn't be of any use because they had a MasterCard, and I called my boyfriend. I was so fucking thankful that I wasn't naked. I don't know what could have happened. I told him everything, and he immediately came over to get me and fucked the hotel staff up. My boyfriend is in the news media, so he threatened to expose their behavior. They apologized and said that they would give us a $6.28 discount. He told them to fuck off, and while we were leaving, the man or manager who barged into my room gave me the most creepy look ever. The strangest thing is how this incident happened exactly 2 hours after I dreamt of the same thing. There was also some pee in the bathroom pot the same day. It couldn't be me because I was sleeping and no one would use it except me. I couldn't figure out who peed and did not flush. I asked my boyfriend whether it was him, and he just said it wasn't him. Thinking about the dream part really creeps me out till this day. Thank God I was saved.